Hello and welcome to Conversations and Catapults, the #1 after show for the #1 D&D podcast. Today, I am joined by some tournament champions. Please introduce yourselves, champions.
Woo! I'm tournament champion #1, Ben, and I play Windsor Wallaby on Trials and Trebuchets. Also the #1 champion.
Ha! I beat you, and I beat you, and I beat you, and I'm the winner, and I'm Integrity Idleberry, played by Carla. Played by Carla of the Hip Trials and
Can't believe you
Trebuchets
just
show.
doxed yourself.
Docs.
Woo! We just won! My name is Sarah, and I play Mira Marchand. The level, well, let's not worry about that. I play Mira, though.
Yeah, did we win? Hi, I'm Sam, and I play Sarah Neff Cinderman on the hit show Trials and Trebuchets, and I guess we won, yo!
And I'm not a champion, I actually lost, and my name is Luke, and I play the Dungeon Master on the mid-tier podcast Trials and Trebuchets.
Yes.
That is true. D&D is a competition between
It
you
is.
and us. When we
Exactly.
win, you lose.
Damn.
I take no joy from being defeated.
Yeah, Luke, we brought you on the show today to shame you for losing, to really rub your nose in it.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
How does it feel to have your 7th-year team lose to a bunch of first
It
years?
felt
Luke?
better than my 4th-year team losing to a bunch of first years. I'm gonna be real with you. It was way nicer.
Speaking of things that are nice and not so nice, I think that I don't know if I think that's the transition I really want to go with.
It's perfect. It's perfect.
Here's what I'll say. I think it's safe to say, after a long period of time, autumn has ended,
Oh, yeah.
and we are here to do a little post-mortem on the Autumn's End arcs of
yeah.
Autumn's Blend, Autumn's Mend, and also, like, Journey to the Center of the Under Campus is also probably thrown in there, but does that one even
Little
count
guy.
as an arc?
Like,
If they aren't 20 episodes, are they even
It's
arcs?
the same length as the Sunken Hatch. That's an arc.
ooh,
It was an early arc. I don't know.
I think that shorter arcs are good and longer arcs are a signal of some wild stuff.
Speaking of things that we think are good and things that are signs of wild stuff, that's the transition that I'll use. I wanted to do something a little bit new where we do a thing where we talk about our roses and thorns for these arcs.
yeah.
A rose is something that you really enjoyed, something that really engaged you.
It's also a
Or,
flapper.
something that you're proud of, possibly. And a thorn is a place where either you or you feel like the podcast as a whole can improve, or something that you want to steer away from in the future. So yeah, it's going to be a bit more of a free-form episode this time, guys. I hope you're all down with it.
I love it.
I am down with
Absolutely.
Down and jiggy.
Do you want us to go in a specific order?
Yeah, Luke, I feel like you're probably the
Oh.
person who has
The most
the
thorns?
you can just reach to yours. Like you have a
Absolutely.
whole bush of roses.
I collect them like they are dying.
it.
I think that my rose for this set of arcs, I guess, for Autumn's End, the Autumn's End saga, let's call it. My rose is that we solved the two grand problems and brought it in for a at least sensible landing at the end. I'm happy with that because I think at the midpoint, I did not know how we were going to like get this over with, right? We were like 20 episodes deep in Autumn's Blend, and I was like, oof, where is this going to actually end up? And it ended up in a nicer place than I was hoping.
Yeah, it has one of, I think, the most solid finishes to an arc
Oh,
Mhm.
interesting.
than we've seen in the rest of the show. Not that like all arcs end in kind of a wet fart, but this one, like, you are definitively like,
Mhm.
all right, we're essentially like rolling credits at
Yes.
this point. I am taking narrative control
Yep.
to just move us past this.
Mhm.
We're done.
Yeah.
The episode is over.
And I think it ended on a very good ending point as well, because not only was it the last day of the festival, it very much felt like the culmination of all of the things happening in the arc. We saw kind of, I wouldn't say a resolution, but we moved toward a resolution of a lot of the things that were introduced in that same arc, like, for example, the Adeline stuff, the deal with the building anticipation of the Cinderman parents arriving. And so I think it was a really nice way to wrap everything up in a moment that felt triumphant for us and also really narratively satisfying.
Because there's no use, because if we moved on and just kept playing after that point for like 30 more minutes, it would kind of like, it would be a big wet fart, right? Like it would just be worse, right? Than if you imagine it like a TV show, or you can imagine like the end credits starting to roll nearing the end of that fight when things are getting a bit more tense, right? And like the ending music starts playing and you're like, wow, there's only a minute left in the episode. What's gonna happen? And then it kind of just like it ends there with like that climax. And I do really like that. That's my rose. As for my thorn, this arc lasted almost a year, and that's unacceptable. I hate it. We do arcs because it keeps things fresh. That's why a lot of them are like kind of like on the road field trips, right? And I'm going to have to get more clever about getting these fucking students into field trips because every single one is terrible and none of them want to go on field trips anymore. So an internship, that should be fun and great.
I wonder why they might be scared of field trips, by the way.
I don't know.
We're scarred.
Literally.
But I don't want to ever do an arc or set of arcs, a saga that goes on this long. That was a mistake.
That's fair. I mean, it feels like we have been in this for like
It got
what feels like
stale.
forever,
Yeah.
and it's hard to believe that it actually has been a year.
Which, on the one hand, I do appreciate getting to spend a lot of time at Wildcliff. Because I think that was before these arcs. That was probably one of my biggest critiques. Was damn, for a show about a magical school, we don't really spend that much time at school, do we? We spent so long in Isethil. I can't believe we spent 14 sessions in Isethil. Can you believe it?
And now we're here with like 50 sessions in Wildcliff.
Yep.
Has it been
Yes.
50?
Something absurd.
It's been quite a number.
121 or 122 until 167.
So that's 45 episodes.
Yeah,
Damn.
that's a lot of episodes.
That is a big number.
I feel like with like I don't know, like we kind of stayed in one place for a lot of this. So it but I feel like, and I guess this is my rose, is that we did a lot of family dynamic stuff and a lot of like, hey, this is how these characters act in like different groups of people, and it's kind of like, I don't know, shaped our characters more. And now that we've done that, it's kind of like, okay, now let's move on to bigger and better things. We're going to go into a tundra, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'll bounce off of that because spending so much time at Wildcliff has given a lot of characters that you normally wouldn't see in the limelight. They've become a really fleshed out. Like you probably wouldn't have gotten a lot of interactions if you were in another plane for like 15 or so sessions, because those characters just aren't present. But because they're around us all the time, we have more opportunities to know more about them and their personalities and stuff. And I think that's a really like fun thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with the faculty, because with Isethil, not only were we on a field trip away from the rest of the school, but we were also without any adult mentors, which I think absolutely worked for the arc, but also meant that we didn't really get to see a lot of faculty stuff. And I think that really got to shine this arc. I thought it was really awesome.
Oh yeah, like the whole like court scene and everything, like that was very good.
Yeah. But again, there is also like a limit to like how much we should be around these characters and stuff.
Absolutely.
I feel like we've like pretty much passed the limit of like our current interactions with these characters. So that's probably the thorn for me. It's like, all right, we know who these characters are. We know like more about them. Oh, hi, they're still here.
Yeah. How many scenes can you have of like, oh, hi parents, how's it going?
Yeah, like
at least in Wildcliff going forward. And seeing them in other contexts potentially, I think would give you a bit more stuff to do. But in Wildcliff, definitely, I pulled off of the big parents being in scenes a lot because I was like, what the fuck else can they do? Like, even in like 166, the twins are there, and I'm like, yeah, the twins are just there. They don't say anything funny to each other. They're just there. Let's get on with it, right?
Sometimes people are people. They can't be performing all the time.
Yeah, it makes sense that they're like in the area and doing whatever,
Yeah.
but like it would be nice to see them in like other like scenarios or like
At the farm.
contexts, which would be like, oh, this is how they are in their normal
Winter
everyday
break.
life, and they're not just
Yeah.
describing it to us at Wildcliff because they're visiting.
Confronting their daughter
Especially
because she
because-
brought a girl in a bathtub back to their house.
And it's also all of the families are in a similar boat of like,
yes.
oh, their relationship to this place is that their child goes here.
Yeah.
And like it is not like anyone has a relationship to Wildcliff past that.
Absolutely.
And so, like, that is also another limiting factor. Now, I wanted to ask, and this is an open question, but if it is, like, kind of agreed upon, we can't be spending so much time in, like, one place or on one arc. Number one, are you going to be looking for, like, what is the cutoff in terms of, like, if you're thinking episode number, like, what is the ideal episode, like, number for
Arc
an
length. Yeah.
Yeah, arc length.
That's a mathematics question. No.
Well, let's
Because, like,
see.
and when you get up to that point, how do you, like, begin saying, all right, we need to take this in for a landing, we need to wrap it up?
Yeah.
You know what arc was a good length?
What arc was a good one?
Shake and Break.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I
How
think
many
that's the
episodes of
perfect
Shake and
length.
Break?
15?
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was around there.
Let me validate
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Y'all talk.
Like, sticking with, like, a good solid, like, you know, one core of an anime, like 13 episodes.
Yep, that's perfect.
Kind of connecting with what Luke and Ben were talking about when it came to like their thorns and everything about like the length and like how long we kind of just stayed in one place. I think something, because like generally, because I think before we had a thing of like we aren't talking to each other and we're just trying to get everything done. And then we tried, you know, okay, let's try having more conversations with each other in character to get things moving. And that kind of, I think that added on to the amount of time that this arc was. I think finding the balance between the two, so that way we aren't just jumping from what we're like action to action, but we're also not just stopping to have a conversation, which I 100% know that I am guilty of because my brain just goes in rambling circles sometimes.
Yeah.
And even right now, I'm trying to like...
I agree with that, Sam, and that the balance is really important. And the key, I think that's partially on, or largely on me, especially if you look at Autumn's blend. We see so many scenes repeated of just conversation, right? And it's like not a ton has happened that necessitates a conversation of this scale or length to be occurring. And that's on me for not either prompting with something new or moving on past that and saying in brief, this is what we speak about. And I think a key with that is like having something to do, a problem to solve is in an actionable way that you are like participating in, having an interesting verb to work around as opposed to just find someone or etc. Right? Like the conversation around getting a new shepherd of potentiality is much different than how do we bring artists back, right? Because those are two kind of different verbs, right? Like revive versus investigate kind of things.
Yeah.
And that's interesting and key to making the conversations interesting, moving them forwards, that kind of stuff. To answer your question originally, though, Nathan, I did look up Shake and Break, and it was actually the length that I imagined in my head as the perfect arc length, which is 12 episodes. 12 episodes.
Aha!
Ooh.
I was
think
actually gonna
12
like make a comment saying like 12 seems like the perfect number of episodes because
That's
like
perfect.
you've got
You have enough time to fully experience a setting, get to do something cool and new, but you also get a very self-contained narrative arc. That doesn't get bogged down with, you know, plot hooks that don't go anywhere or repetitive conversations. It gives you a self-contained story that's can fit into the larger world, but it's fresh, it's interesting, but it's still.
I also
thorough.
like
It's
that you can
perfect.
just cut it into quarters.
That's true.
Which, like, you say that, like, however, that is a really good way of, like, doing the high-level plotting of, like, all right, by the third episode, I want to have gotten this accomplished.
Yes.
If I haven't yet, how does that change the plan?
Good for goal planning.
Yeah. On shorter scale, that's a thing that I do with Weenie Hollow planning, where I sit down and I prep out how many days are there starting on Monday until Halloween Day, until October 31st. And that's like how many episodes go out for that year's Weenie Hollow. And I will then think of one thing that I want to happen in that episode, right? And so for this past year, Weenie Hollow 21, it was 7 episodes. I came up with kind of 7 things, generally 6 and plus nothing, plus a 0 at the end. And I was like, these are the things that when these happen, this is the only thing I really care about happening in this episode, etc. And when it's a long-running campaign, those probably feel like they should be mixed in a little better, a bit integrated more. And then field trip arcs, which is most of them, that's 12 episodes, you can sit there and go, these don't need to be integrated as strongly. We can have this kind of like off to the side, but still integrated in a coherent way with interesting hooks that are like self-contained in 12 episodes or less. And it's nice. It doesn't get stale at that point, and you can have a clear entry and exit. And that's just, I don't know. I really like that. All the arcs around that length, I think, are good. Not to say like ones that have gone longer, like Faint of Heart and Food for Thought, are worse. But I just like that length. It's good.
It's a cozy length.
It is. It's a cozy length, and it's also like the right length of, I almost think of it as like going and waiting in a line for a ride at like a theme park, where like, oh, the experience in the line is meant to be as much of an attraction as the ride itself. However, if you stay in the line too long, then all of the things that are done to kind of make this an attraction kind of wear on you. You get to see the seams, so to speak, or like any video that's playing is going to repeat over and over again, and you're going to get tired of it.
Yeah.
That absolutely. Is like, to me, approaching an arc, that is like the thing to avoid.
Yeah.
Is that feeling of waiting too long for an actual ride.
And this is an interesting thing that I've thought about. When we started this show, the 5 of us were in university. And the arcs could be kind of very strongly tied to semesters, right?
True.
So like these 3-month to 4-month periods, you could very closely tie certain arcs to that length. And my brain was just very keen to work in that kind of scheduled manner. And now, not being in school any longer, it is kind of like in this unstructured period that allows it to escape into giant 45-episode arcs, because it's like, time isn't passing and nothing's real, right? So tying it back down to shorter arcs, I think, is good for us as the people making it, for everyone listening, all these things. What you said about not getting annoyed by the idiosyncrasies of the arc itself, that's important stuff.
Sure. All right. Who else do we have for Roses and Thorns?
Carla's been silent.
Called out.
No.
Ooh.
Well, I agree, like, a lot with the thorns that have already been talked about. Like, those are like my biggest issue, I guess, with this saga of arcs.
Saga.
I would say though, like for a rose, it would be our ability to just feel at home in Wildcliff and pursue what we want to do in a familiar place. Like, I guess I could speak for Integrity, but because that's the only one I could speak for, because I play Integrity. But getting that, like, getting my Lemon stand, granted that it didn't really like get anywhere, but just to have done it, because I know that we planned it even like at the pet like before the pet arc. So just having that is sort of quite nice, because we got to have that opportunity. I guess
you were able to have a lot of like character driven moments.
Yeah.
In that way, where like it was like, oh yeah, this is just a goal that we have here.
I love that shit. I eat that shit up. It's the best.
I definitely think that has been one of like the trade-offs though of like this more, let's say, comfortable arc length, where you're just really like letting yourself spread out on the couch.
Do you mean bloated? You've eaten too much sushi and you can't
gotta have a good meal.
But no, like, you do get to have that freedom of being like, okay, well, my character like has the time and the space, like isn't under this constant pressure, and can like pursue my own interests.
Yeah, because you do need to have downtime. I think that is crucial. You know, you need to have moments of rising tension and you need to have moments of falling tension. And when you have too much rising tension, you have what kind of happened at the end of Undercampus and the start of Blend, where everyone was like, okay, we need a minute. And I think that if you have too much release of tension, you just get, very long arcs that are, perhaps overlong. So I think it's just about finding a balance between those things, because they are both necessary components.
Has that been something we talked about, like the end of Undercampus, like trading places into Undercampus into the start of Autumn's Blend? Have we talked about that on CNC?
I think we might have.
Honestly, I'm not sure. I am not sure, because it has been so long, and I feel like we did not spend a ton of time on it.
Okay, yeah.
Or at least because it just doesn't feel like something. I don't know. My gut reaction is that I may not have like given it the same due that I am giving to these arcs.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Why, did you have something you wanted to say about?
No, I just thought it was an interesting like behind the scenes little moment of like we had a conversation about slowing things down as opposed to just jumping into what I had planned, and it led to quite a bit of rewriting at the start of Autumn's Blend on my part, and like a massive tonal shift between episode like 123 and the rest, or 127 or something and the rest.
Here's a question. Do you think it would be helpful to segment downtime into to have either like an episode or 2 or 3 to be like, all right, this is your time to have downtime.
Which is essentially what we used to do, because we would have those downtime episodes after every arc, not like labeled as this is the downtime
like
episode,
the
but often the first episode of each arc would be downtime, and then the end of that episode would often kind of lead into the hook for that arc.
Yep. That was a deliberate choice. And we got away from that I couldn't tell you why. Just lack of foresight, I believe. And like this kind of, there was a melding that happened in the Food for Thought and Faint of Heart arcs where there was a lot of stuff that was happening on campus. And it was like these moments, these like small pockets of downtime interspersed with everything else, if you know what I'm talking about. And so at that point, it's difficult to kind of wrangle and get the necessity of like, where do we put a downtime episode? Do we need one right at the start? And that's something that might become difficult, especially when I was really excited to jump into like a massive tournament arc and festival arc and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, let's just go. And there's this cool potentiality thing. Like, you guys don't need downtime. Get the fuck over everything that just happened. Process it on the move. Come on. Which isn't, I don't think, smart. Nor is like taking like 7 episodes to like get through a bunch of shit, right? So what we'll probably see going forwards is, I hope, a return to that where we take an episode to catch things and then move on to the hook.
Well, kind of like following that idea, Luke, especially with how this arc has ended, it definitely gives the idea of like, because like I think it's a time skip. Like I don't 100% know what your plan is there. Yeah, but like that would 100% give the potential, because like this like huge thing is done. It ended on like the high note of like look at this, like look what we've done. And then then like the next episode 100% could be the unnamed like downtime because of how it ended.
Yeah, just a little moment of reprieve, getting chores done. I love the chore episodes. The biggest difficulty with chore episodes is coming up with titles that aren't just the chore episode.
The chore episode Redux.
Yep.
I kept on trying to think of like fun pun names where you work in chore to make it sound like something else, and all I could think of were whore rhymes.
God.
So I was like,
what a chore.
Okay.
Yeah, choring yourself out.
Oh my god.
I imagined like, I swear there's a scene in Mulan where like one of the brooms just hits somebody in the face or something like that, and that's just what I imagined.
There was an episode that it was like a chore episode. I think it's the one actually in Autumn's Blend where everyone goes and visits, like gets their stuff done, and Mira goes and visits with Professor Alara, and she's like, yo, that's some heavy shit, just have a drink, I don't know fucking what to say. And I remember Carla and I were up at like 2 a.m. thinking of a title that we were like fucking giggling at each other. I can't remember it. I wish I could. But it was like, it did not rhyme or have any catchiness unless you mispronounced the word chores so badly. And we just kept saying it to each other and cracking up. And we put it in the group chat and everyone was like, no, that's actually not a good title.
This title's bad.
That's every week, though.
I mean, I'm not up when those happen.
Intel
so.
chore.
Intel chore.
Common chore education. Chore rotor.
Oh no!
The marine chore.
The marine chore.
The marine chore.
Chore.
Oh my god.
What is it good for?
Absolutely nothing.
God.
Chores, what are they good for? There you go.
Oh
I
gosh.
like that
okay.
so much.
Well,
Incredible.
I'm sad that I'm
Gosh,
asleep during
That's
that.
everything to talk about, right?
I also wanted to mention my own Rose as a listener
Yeah.
has been
Unexpected.
really something that I think needs to be shouted out because all of you have had a distinct improvement. Is combat seems to be going a whole lot better on the whole. At the very least,
Hell yes.
like I feel like players are making like interesting tactical decisions, and it's usually either one or the other. Carla, you look disgusted with your face.
What?
Like you're about to get.
You look like Nathan just
sorry.
spat at you.
I feel like that might be a bit too like.
I didn't mean to
I
be
don't
so
know.
judgmental.
I may be wrong. I may be
I didn't
wrong.
mean to. My face. I can't stop my face.
I feel like you're giving us too much credit.
I don't know.
there. Maybe.
Combat's cool.
you can give us credit for the last combat. The last
Yeah, the last
combat
Okay, the
That
last
was
one was really good.
terrific.
The last
Before
one's so
that,
frantic.
I felt like Integrity
Who are we
was
talking
a
to right
dumb
now?
bitch, and the person playing her was even a dumber bitch.
Also, yeah.
Know your frigging magic.
Oh
you
yeah.
boo-boo.
You
There's so much
boo-boo.
cut. There's so much cut out of those fights that the audience will never have to listen to, and Nathan does have to trudge through as a person who listens to the raw cuts
with
of most
the past
episodes.
few, I've actually
Oh,
been able to
yeah.
listen to the final product. Yeah.
Lucky duck. The
Not to
combat
mention,
ones-
it's hard to like improve at combat or like participate in combat when you've exploded.
Yes.
So I don't know how I can fit into that. Being like, how did I
That's
improve?
fair.
I was dead.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
so funny, like the combat
funny,
with
though.
Joan in the middle of like. If people remember, Integrity jumped into this into
the pit.
into the ice pole, and then in the middle of it, I messaged Ben. I was like, "Hey Ben, drinking a potion is an action, right?"
And I said,
like-
yes, drinking a potion is an action.
Because Luke looked at me like he didn't know what I was doing.
Mhm.
What I was planning on doing was jumping out of there and momentarily like staying there, and then using my flying
Potion of
potion
flying
to
that
come
you
out
got
and be like,
years
"Ha,
ago."
I'm Jesus."
Yeah, I knew you were up to
Um,
something as soon as you messaged me about the potion being an action, and I'm like, yeah, sorry.
And then
A
I
lot
was
of moving
like,
pieces.
"Never mind."
I'm gonna stick to my combats with one enemy who can cast no spells.
I am
Doing all
going
this
to
mage
whack.
combat- yeah, doing mage combat, it's a lot. Like I have only so much processing power. Thank you for the compliment in terms of like saying the combat is better.
Yeah,
which
I
might be
think-
like me just saying like, damn, what a stark like everything that you may have said might be true about your current combat. It's still better than the combat that came before.
True.
Like, no offense,
Yeah.
like intended. I'm sure that those times were very fun. However, it is like something that has become markedly more engaging to listen to.
As our role playing skills and skills as D&D players improves, our combat also improves, although we may not see it because we don't have combat that often.
yeah, it comes through in your like combat descriptions that you all
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
been more thoughtful about in this arc.
For example,
instance, like
the Korka fight, that was scrappy as hell.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But now we
Rough.
had things like Ben mentioning like how the minute meteors like are almost like a bracelet around Winsler's wrist, like things like that, or Mira's like use of like doing a low note like
Yeah.
as a little hum to cancel out someone else's magic with a counter spell.
Mira doing Scott Pilgrim shit every fight is
Yeah.
it's sick as hell. I fucking love it.
We've come so far.
Thank you so much for that, though, Nathan. I did like when we started this arc, I played my very first like combat video game.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
I really wanted to sort of. I remember playing it, and I was like, "Wow, Integrity is really like a sucky rogue," because like not using like her abilities to the fullest potential, and I think like a big thing for me
Season.
for this arc when we have combat, like really trying to use that to my advantage. I don't feel like I was able to really play it out as much as I wanted to, but I think getting there. We just need to more
Yeah.
combat, please.
More combat. My plan for the next arc is to have a bit of combat, not just one at the end. So, but we'll see how that goes. It could turn into one at the end, which would be, I think, a tragedy. But
I can't wait to beat up my parents.
yeah, Serenup's just gonna be
Oh, shit,
a
spoilers?
bride.
I can't wait to beat up Crow Mercantile employees.
Beat up Chudley.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chudley
Winslow
is-
murdering
that still
Chudley in a
happens.
barn.
Chudley is gone, right?
Jelly mind
he's
wipe.
with
No.
his
Maybe,
family's,
we don't know.
like
But
helper.
He's the
potentiality got
helper.
reset. How is he
Yeah.
back? Potentiality is like back to normal.
He poofed. He
Here's the thing.
poofed before we
wasn't
got
the
sent on this
potentiality
quest for the
thing.
potentiality.
That wasn't a smush
that
thing,
was a
Nathan.
smush.
What
Here's
the
the
fuck
thing,
are you
Nathan.
talking about?
Damn,
Here's
Sarah.
the thing, Nathan. Here's the thing,
No.
Nathan. Here's the thing, Nathan. And players and
Yes.
audience and
Yes.
players and Nathan. The
Yes.
thing is,
Mm.
all of the lame plot hooks from the smush don't exist anymore. All of the good ones still exist.
Yeah, like
Because-
Chudley still existing.
So which are the lame ones and which are the good ones?
Genie kind of lame, too much, not existing unless I want it to come back at some
forgot
point.
about the genie.
Oh, the genie.
Oh yeah, I also
the
forgot about the
apples-
genie.
Apple
Holy shit.
Apple siblings blasted into nothingness. I replaced them. If you ever went back to Lemawand, you were gonna find a single Apple person vendor who was like, "I always wish I had children," but they were just alone. I can't think of any others. They're lame. They're too lame to even enter into my
So
brain.
you're saying that we
but anything.
we actually didn't hurt all those people with our wands?
Oh, we
I
100%
didn't say
still affected those people with those wands.
The wild snake vampire zombie thing that I just for some reason started saying. Like I have no idea why. Sometimes this happens, y'all, where you get into your brain turns into mush and you just start saying things.
And you're kind
And
of
then
really
you-
feeling yourself too. You're like, oh, I'm on a roll. I can't lose right
Every
now.
episode, yeah. And then you say something.
Luke, you enter into a fugue state every episode.
It's true. It's
Where
very
you're-
true.
Where you're like, I'm batting 1,000, and at the end of every episode, it's back to Mr. Hyde, and it's like that sucks shit.
Yeah, it's true. And when we do leading up to the intro of every episode, I'm like, God, I'm terrible. DMing is so difficult. This game sucks. I suck. Every episode sucks. And then we'd start DMing, or I start DMing. And I'm like, I fucking just my head goes empty, my eyes cloud over, and I go into like I almost am drowning. And then at the end of the episode, when someone starts doing the outro, I start coming back down to earth and like just start breathing and like thinking about what actually happened. And that's every episode.
It was all a blur.
This is how we learned that for every recording, Luke has just been having an extended panic attack that he's trying to hide.
Yes.
Oh, we knew that.
Yeah, that's obvious.
Oh, yeah, the Keepsy voice was kind of a dead giveaway.
God.
But, well, thank you all very much for sharing all of this with me, but I did have another order of
It
business
sounded like
that we needed to get to.
it sounded like you were gearing up to end the episode.
Yes, same.
No,
I was
it's
like,
only been 40 minutes.
Already? Yeah.
Oh, there's more episodes. There are still episodes.
1
that-
minute for every 1 minute for every episode.
Well, I hope everyone enjoyed tuning into that episode of Conversations
And as we
Catapults.
say on every episode, get fucked, nerds.
Bye,
You say
losers.
that.
We do say that.
Okay, we don't say that
rude.
though.
We don't want to be rude to you. Please
Nathan says
continue
that.
giving us money.
You know who we do want to be rude to, though?
Oh.
We need to grade the parents.
Oh
Our
my
final
God.
set.
Oh God.
The long-awaited, the Cindermans.
F minus.
F.
Oh, F minus.
Zed.
Listen, as characters, they're great, but as
F.
parents, F minus.
Yeah.
Were they everything that you all hoped they would be?
I
after,
think there
like,
might be worse.
Oh, they're awful. It's great.
Maybe.
worse.
Yeah.
I feel like they would be worse if they murdered someone in front of me, but they haven't.
I will.
That's the only way that they can get worse is if they murder someone in front of you. Sam, what's up?
I as like myself listening about them and everything like that, and as the person who plays Sarah and F minus, but
Yeah.
I am there's a weird sixth sense of joy of the fact of like the mom pretending to hug Sarah and them like giving her instructions in her ear, like, oh, to the outside it's like, oh, very loving family, and then it's on the inside it's like, these are your orders, follow through with them or else. It's like
They are the perfect definition of characters who are designed to be thoroughly hated, and they fit that description to a T. And ugh.
these are the rich people we have
Takes
to
a
eat.
certain, well, that's all rich people, Sam. It takes a certain piece of shit
True.
to go up to your daughter and be like, hey, heard you're getting married maybe tonight? That's bad. I'm sure you're up to some bullshit. And your daughter goes, no, I swear I tried to stop it. And your parents go, yeah, right, idiot. Go fucking stop it.
How
for
dare you?
yourself."
How dare you
It's-
try to tarnish our image? Like,
It's so good.
fuck
It's
you.
so good.
Yeah.
I like even Serenep going along with things means Serenep's parents are like, you're fucking up. This is just like peak terrible parent.
I want to turn one of them into a toad.
You should do it.
Turn them both into toads. No. Turn one of them into toads and one of them into a fly and just let nature run its course.
That's really good.
I think that they're big pieces of shit who don't deserve to breathe air.
Breathe air.
Oh no,
my
Sarah,
God.
Them, like,
your parents, they were in a terrible carriage accident. All their money is yours now. It's like, oh, sweet, thanks, bye.
Is this what Philip was planning on doing the entire time? Oh, I could have done something
Oh, I'm
stupid.
so
I was
excited for
gonna
that.
murder your parents.
That's gonna be.
You know what?
I didn't
Romantic
operate on
gesture,
that.
I'm in for it.
yeah, that would literally make me do a 180 on Philip's character.
I didn't operate on Philip saying I want to do something stupid this arc because I thought, no need for it. That'll come in the moments to follow, though.
Yeah.
That's a definite thing. Nathan, you were going to ask though when I'm playing when I'm playing the Cindermans.
Yes. What were your guiding principles? Because it was something that it has been like heavily telegraphed, which I think Sam, you did a great job as like really setting them up as real pieces of shit. By talking about them as like Serenep. And so, Luke, you had big shoes to fill that hadn't even been worn yet.
Yeah, I thought of all of this like generational toxicity and toxic parents I've ever met and heard of, and was like, let's just condense that into 2 devious people. And then I was like, I'm gonna watch a bunch of Game of Thrones clips on YouTube, which I also did. And I also watched a lot of Bridgerton, and that really influenced a lot of my future plans for nobility. And that's the guiding principles, Nathan. It was toxic parents who, there's lines, like, I don't know. Ever since I've been, like, there's a line for the Cindermans. I'm not going to say it because I want to say it in another moment, but I always say that about every character. But, like, there's
Exactly. Give in now.
Tell
us now.
A set of dialogue that I would like for Serenep's parents to say to her. And anytime I'm like gearing up to get into character as the Cindermans, like whether it be them writing a letter to her or whether it be them showing up in person and being like just terrible, that runs through my mind like a little mantra, and it just immediately sets the tone, and it's perfect, and it's just very cruel, and it really grounds me, you know.
I'm scared of Luke now.
Yeah, that's psychotic. All right, so it's an F- for the Cindermans. And let me, oh gosh, I wish I had kept a better record of what all of the other parents have gotten.
I believe
Because
Windsor's parents were S tier.
I think Windsor's parents do win best parents.
Gotta be the Wallabies on top, I think, right?
Wallabies on the top. Now that we've reached the end, we had a great moment with Amaranth.
It's true.
Though, do we want to revisit her grade? I remember it being like in the solid like B- B area.
Mm-hmm. She was really strict when she came into the scene, you know?
Yeah, coming in being like, what have you done with your hair is, well, a very real parent thing, I think, and I don't think it is like a huge like besmirchment on her character. You know, I can see why that would dock some people some points. But
I'll give her a B+.
Interesting.
yeah, after that talk with Serenep, I feel like she's earned it.
A B+ is like above average.
Yeah, she got extra credit.
Yeah.
Yo, to Serenep, she's like an A+ aunt, honestly.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
So a B+ parent, but A+ aunt is pretty good.
hell yeah.
I love my mom. She's great.
Integrity, what are you doing here?
It's like Carla closes her eyes and then she opens them again. It's like a different high integrity.
I would rate Mom Delberry pretty highly. But I think I would rate the Marchands higher than Amaret Idleberry.
Oh.
I'm
Damn.
just a big fan of their dynamic, and Sarah has a whole fucking spiel about everyone in the family dying before Iverin, which just wins me over every day.
What? I love that. I love that shit. I don't know. I think that I've talked about this on the Discord server. I think half elves, the sort of inherent existence of half elves just has baked within it a lot of tragedy that I find super interesting, because I think that you have to very much love someone to commit to spending their entire life with you, knowing that you're going to outlive them and you're going to outlive your own children. I think that's super fascinating, and I don't know, I love that shit.
Absolutely.
Luke, you look so
Kind of
That's
poetic.
the kind of,
I'm
it's just
sorry.
like the contemplation of mortality we love to see here on Trials and Trebuchets. It's just good. We love it.
Every episode, this conversation has to happen.
You guys need to find a vampire so that you live
No.
forever.
No.
There are
We
like
become liches. We already have a lich we can ask for advice. Maybe too soon.
damn.
Let's just all become liches so that we never have to like
The end
die.
game.
Yeah, because I think Sereneth would be the first to go,
Yeah.
wouldn't she? Because she's older and also human.
A human. You or
Yeah.
integrity. Yeah.
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 It'll be Sereneth / Integrity, then Mira,
Yep.
then Winsler, I believe.
That is correct.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
there's like a pretty decent gap between Winsler and Mira.
Yes.
Because like Mira's looking
That's
to cap
true.
out at around 150. Meanwhile, Winsler can live to what, 500?
Something around there, yeah.
Damn.
Something like that, yeah.
Big shit.
Because gnomes are like little elves.
Yes.
Yeah, they're Santa elves rather than Lord of the Ring elves.
Oh my god.
The spirit of Christmas has
About
been
calling
turned wild.
them Santa elves is so delightful.
I mean, it's accurate. Like their whole thing, like rock gnomes can literally just create small toys out of.
Winsler
like, they're
can
called
also do
ether
that,
gnomes.
but they only last for a little bit.
Winsler likes to make tiny
Exactly, 'cause
utensils with little hands and
Because
feet.
you're a little keeper.
Yeah, you
elf.
haven't been to elf practice.
Why would you
haven't.
put elf
Funny.
practice?
Little gumdrop. I think I said I make a lot of jokes about candy elves. Sorry, about fucking gnomes having like little gumdrop houses and bullshit. Like I have a lot of post-it notes that are just dedicated to stupid musings about fucking gnomes living in the forest under the Lady of the Woods' kind of dominion and just living in little gumdrop huts and like having chocolate caramel
That's so
rivers.
cute.
Those gumdrops
For
have
someone who
so
lives
much
in
dirt on them at this point.
For someone who lives in Candy Rivers, why is Lady of the Woods?
Oh, the Lady of the Woods
Allah?
does not live in the
Allah
candy
Grim.
rivers and gumdrop
Oh.
huts. That's for
That's
the
way
lowly
too
little
nice for
gnomes.
her.
Yeah.
I was about to say she's not cheerful enough to have that
Goodness, no.
lifestyle.
She lives in her fucking cave on top of her hoard because she's a hidden dragon. Because
Nathan.
Luke decided to make her covered,
No.
decked out in gold,
No.
head to toe. Damn, I wonder what he's trying to tell
I
us. I wonder
mean-
if there are any famous monsters who are made out of gold, perhaps.
Maybe she's just got some variant of the Midas curse.
Or she has the
you
heart
know?
of
She has a heart of gold. Or
Maybe she has the King Midas touch.
Tell me, what is... I had a few other, like, more traditional questions for everyone, which is, what are you all planning to do with your winnings now that you have won the tournament? How much money did they win?
Nothing.
Like 800 something between all of us.
I did the math on all of us a little bit ago, and I believe we all get 866 gold pieces total.
yeah.
like
So,
between
Luke,
all of us.
to give us an
Yeah.
idea of, like, the economy of Agia, what could that get you?
Oh wow, that could buy you a pretty parcel of land with
3
an
nights
old-
in a luxury hotel.
That could get you like
Like
I think
penthouse.
that you could buy a very nice home in like a nice part of a city for like half of that.
Holy
Oh.
shit. Oh my
And
god.
then live very comfortably for a couple of years.
Damn.
Like,
Damn.
Or you could
I'm
live
quite
That
wheels
is
are
great
turning.
context to have.
or you could move to the mudflats and just buy like 70 acres.
Hell yeah.
And then have like
That
700 gold
also-
pieces left over.
That also really puts into perspective the fact that our school fees are
Yes.
500 gold pieces a year plus 180 gold pieces for
Yep.
additional
That's
materials.
crazy.
Like
That's so much money.
not only how much like the Wallabies had to save to make that happen, but also just the class dimensions of Wildcliff
Yes.
in general. Especially, we didn't see much of her, but a character like Vana, who is
little urchin.
sneaking
Yeah.
onto campus for
Yeah.
this. Yeah. I don't know. I think that really lays that bare in a super interesting way that I'd love to see more
That
of.
makes
So
Windsor's parents saving up
sweet
all that
then.
money so much
Yeah.
more like crazy.
Winsler's parents make less than that. Make less than whatever tuition, just tuition alone, let alone extra fees. They make less than that in a year, right?
Mhm.
So the prospect of Winsler continuing in school relies on him essentially doing well enough in school that he gets essentially bursaries or a scholarship or an internship where he makes money, right?
or goes into debt.
Or goes into debt, right? Which that would be fun.
Yeah, he very much did in one
He
way.
did that for a scale that goes ding.
Ding.
I don't even have
Cha-ching.
the scale anymore. Like, it went somewhere.
There's a lot of talk about Winsler not having the goddamn scale.
I don't
and
know why
I
it's so important.
Because you.
I want to clear the air because in undercampus, you walked right by it, and I described Winsler picking the dang scale up, and for months, I've sat here silent, not having a chance to really want to say anything, and I've just been like, I don't really give a shit, but For everyone saying Winslow doesn't have his fucking scale, I said he has his fucking scale. Go back and listen.
Maybe
to
it's just because I forgot.
Who gives a fuck though? It's a useless piece of shit.
I mean, it is
Why
pretty
are you
useless.
So angry.
An immovable
It is just an
rod
immovable
is
rod.
That is an
Luke?
incredibly useful item.
I
in a
apologize.
creative
No,
manner.
it is not.
A fucking immovable rod that you can activate telepathically. What's the use case?
Oh my gosh, it's the only trebuchet.
No.
No, that's not how it works.
I mean, hear me out.
We got
You
off topic.
We were off. We were in the woods.
Oh yeah, we did.
Why is
Yep.
everyone spending their cash on?
Nothing.
Well,
I'm saving it. and
Mira
I don't
is
know
not
why-
buying
We
an
don't
instrument.
fucking shop. Mira has an instrument. She loves it. It's
Can I tell
great.
you, there was a vendor on campus who was gonna like give you a really nice instrument, and he was like that old little Aarakocra, and he was gonna have like a sweet conversation, and no one was coming to his stall, and all the vendors who came to his stall, or like all the other instrument vendors who came every year, they were dead, and he was the only one left because he was so old, and like no one talks to him. Mira spoke to him at the the fucking like
Court thing.
Q&A panel.
Yeah.
And for like the planning committee, and then you were like, I will solve your problem, I swear it. And then we that didn't happen, and that's fine. But I was like sitting there like, I can't wait to give Sarah this cool magic lyre, and then you just never went to get it. And I was like, my heart is
Sarah
broken.
and magic items do not mesh.
Valid.
No, I don't
Yeah.
fucking like them.
That's fine.
That's so sad.
I think that because this now gives Sarah two opportunities with the whole discussion of Luke saying like, you can buy like a piece of land and like
Yes.
set yourself up kind of thing. But I think what she's going to do, if this whatever happens next ends up with her not having that financial support of her parents, like whatever happens, would be either paying for schooling for the next year while she figures out how to make money, and then maybe putting the rest of it into maybe like fantasy stock or something like that to try and accumulate a little bit more, like, and then setting aside like the rest of it in like a safe space for emergency. I'm a very boring person.
When do you think the stock market became a thing?
That's why I
Wait, is
said
there
the
a
stock
actually,
market.
Osei Crow created this really cool crow brand of essentially technology to like string people up in the villages and like throw rotten tomatoes at them, and he just needs some venture capital for people to invest in it. He calls it the stocks market.
Oh my god.
Or like hey, I want to own a share of your company, headmaster, and this will give me some money back. I don't
You're gonna
fucking
need
know.
a bit more money than that. I'll tell you
Damn.
that fucking much.
Well, I mean, like, we're also going to the place to get more money, so I think
It's
she's just gonna like
true.
try and like save that money, extra money that she wouldn't be using to pay for school. Like, she's just gotta
Absolutely.
be safe.
Reasonable.
Speaking of school costs, how much does it cost to get one of the fancy rooms like Serenep has?
You cannot actually get those. You must be an advanced student in order
Yeah.
to get those.
You need to be birthed properly.
Yes.
Damn.
God, I was about to say that's a great way to spend the money.
Nah.
Is to just have that.
Well, that was the underbow kind of regime, the administration. Maybe under the Crow administration, you could just pay
Upcharges
Yeah,
for everything.
yeah.
Do the Disney way.
Yep. I would like to upgrade to the advanced room.
Well, I mean, like, if
Well,
downgrading
here's the thing.
gets
Here's
more
the thing.
money.
There should be one extra advanced student room that is currently going unused because the
Sharing
Lindmans
one,
are sharing
which is
one.
Such horseshit.
Therefore, he should auction it off. Whoever is willing to pay the highest price
There's
gets
also
that room.
an additional one, probably more, that Delness wasn't using, right? Yeah. So there's empties.
Okay, so auction it off
Yeah.
for two of them. This is absolutely some crow shit.
good
Make a
stuff.
quick buck and show that it's a very open
Yeah.
administration that
Anyone
doesn't just
can become
bias itself
anything,
toward human
you know,
nobles.
here at Wildcliff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bootstraps.
I mean, like, and plus, like, if the idea is like, you can either pay for this room that you currently still have, Serenep, that's going to be really expensive, or if you pay less, you have to share a room with somebody. She's gonna share a room with somebody. Like,
And Virgil.
she has to be smart with her stuff.
3 up for auction.
What's everyone else spending? What's Integrity and Winsler's plans for financial security?
Because you two have bought your expensive items of the
True.
pink topaz and the platinum inlaid vial,
Winsler's
which
probably
also puts those items into perspective, knowing the context. Like,
Yes.
how much that pink topaz was? What, 5,000 gold?
1,500.
1,500.
Or so
That's
Integrity
much less than
said.
I thought.
Or so Integrity lied about.
I did not lie.
Mhm.
I just modify the truth.
Winsler is going to probably give most of the money to his parents because that was the intention of him going to school in the first place. I think he'll keep a little bit for himself, but most of it is going to go to his parents.
Aww.
Chudley is gonna get some of that.
Chudley's gonna fucking die. Chudley, what Chudley's gonna get is a rock to the head. That's it.
How many cows can you get with that, and how much more land?
You could probably get like
3 cows.
50 cows.
Damn.
That was way off.
You get a lot of cows.
Or,
Quite
I don't
a
know,
land.
you could probably quadruple the amount of land that they have.
Yeah.
Which might be a bit much, because then you would also need to hire more farm hands, because there's
Yup.
no
Yeah.
way 2 of them are gonna be able to handle all that land.
I mean, what if you propose to what's his name? Like to build a basically machines to help with that.
Like Gollum.
Oh, you
Mary
want to use
Kurt?
some golems?
You want golems?
Oh no, not golems, like machines. Like
Inventions.
yeah, inventions.
Like
Ooh.
forklifts.
Forklift
Forklifts.
certified.
You know, farm forklifts.
I mean, the only thing I could think of
farms.
for that would be like having like a
Irrigation
sprinkler system. Yeah, like an irrigation
Irrigation.
system.
Yeah.
But other than that, like I don't know how technical you could really get without like losing the soul of the farm, you know?
You gotta get one of those cow pressers where
Yeah.
they press the cows.
Oh, that's true.
Or like the brushes that go and the cows
Yeah.
can.
Oh yeah, the
Yes,
cow
bro.
brushes to make them
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah.
Aww.
I'm seeing the Harvest Moon games now.
Yeah.
What's
that's-
Integrity spending that money on?
Yeah.
Yeah, integrity. What are you?
Ah.
What are you gonna spend it on?
Cash.
Mm.
You fucking dragon. Early on in the podcast, I asked Carla if she actually wanted to play Sylvie because she kept going and praying and was collecting a bunch of fucking money.
Use the money to buy more money.
There you go. That's what the stock market is for.
Integrity definitely wants to grow that money. Clearly, there is a fault in her business brain because she lost
Everyone here's
money
on the
with
Sigma
Lemon.
mindset.
No, she's not gonna plant the money and grow money. I meant like let it flourish.
I wasn't worried about that. Don't worry, Carla. That
No
was not.
one-
I wasn't confused
no
by
one
that.
was worried about that.
I mean, clearly Luke seems to not believe that there is no stock market, so I guess Integrity cannot put it into a stock market. But I guarantee that she will find a way to make that money work for her and earn her lots of money so that she can be the big boss bitch that she wants to be.
Yes. Sarah, if Mira had to purchase just one
Yes.
thing with the money,
Gun-
just one little like
gun to her
delight
head.
for herself.
Yeah.
You know?
A peppermint.
Peppermint plant?
Fucking gold of
A peppermint
just
ice
one
cream? A peppermint?
No, I think realistically speaking, the only thing I can see her buying in the near future is just some diamonds because she ran out of them to cast Revivify. So while she's home on winter break, she might just like go to a shop and like get a few diamonds just to have
That's a
those.
good call.
Yeah. But the thing is, there aren't, with the exception of Autumn's blend, there aren't like shops at the school. Our food is taken care of, our housing is taken care of. So getting money is nice because it makes number go up, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's a good way of keeping score.
It's
but
it's a nice way
Yeah.
to think that you've gained something, but reality is you've
That's
not
true.
gained anything.
But that's like leveling up and thinking that it makes you more powerful, but it doesn't really.
It's a trick.
Because the fights are actually the same level of difficulty all the time. Because your
Yes.
enemies get more powerful too. Leveling up in D&D is a lie.
my
but we
God.
shouldn't have it. It's just
Go
there
off.
to create a false sense of satisfaction.
Yeah, go off, Sarah. Yeah, by the time you guys are max level, Progenitor will be easy peasy. No problem.
If
Power
we
up
ever
is just
actually
spam.
reach level 20.
We won't.
What if we just pay the progenitor to like get off our backs?
Fucking what?
What do you mean?
How are we gonna
no,
physically
Carla, I
want
want to see where you're going with this, Carla. Come on.
Explain, Carla.
Yeah, let's hear this.
Like,
Carla, here, let's roleplay it out. I'm the progenitor.
hi, progenitor.
Hello, Warlock.
Now, how much money do you want to like stop talking to me in my dreams?
Jesus, that's your
Damn.
approach. You're just getting right down to brass tacks, huh?
You see, I have loads of money now, and you're really bothering me. So I really want you to like stop.
Buy my silence permanently. Oh, you know what? I think that's worth trying on the podcast.
Yeah.
I know we were talking about like getting bogged down and like having poor pacing and everything like that, trying to make sure like we're using every episode properly. However, I do think that we need to have the scene of like trying to bargain with the progenitor.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the progenitor to start just choking Integrity again, like he did when she tried to talk smack about him to a group.
Yeah. That's a decision that happened. Yeah. You should try that. You should try bargaining with him with everything you've got, I think.
Dude, what if like I fall asleep and then it's just like I'm just like gonna magically grab the money in your cubby? Like I don't want that.
I can't believe the progenitor robbed Integrity blind.
She has been
Immense
robbed.
Cosmic power used to steal 800 gold pieces.
Incredible. Honestly based.
Like you wake up in the night and it's just got a shadowy weird figure just like trying to tiptoe out of the room with a giant sack of gold on his back.
Oh, well, golly. All right. Good to know that those are the future plans that we all have. Now, one more question before we begin winding things down. I wanted to like hear what your expectations are going into Troil and like what your characters like expectations are. / how prepared do they feel going into this? Because I imagine there's like a degree of imposter syndrome because Yogg was a bit of a fluke, right?
Maybe a little.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you're like going to have to mass produce more Yoggs?
Or at least just teach people how to do it.
Yeah, teach
recreate
them.
that formula.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And then Mira and Integrity are just tagging along to do work, essentially, which is ambiguous.
Yeah, we just kind of got invited along. I think both myself and Mira are in a similar position of just no expectations. Like, out of game, I have no idea what the Troil arc is remotely going to look like. I don't think really Mira has an idea of, like, why she was asked to go to Troil or what she'll even really be doing in Troil. Nor do I know. And so I think it's just kind of like, okay, guess I'll fucking shovel coal or talk to golem people or something for a few weeks and make a bunch of money for it. Okay, sure, this will look good on my resume.
I agree with that in terms of not expecting anything, especially considering that Integrity is basically just like a tag along too. But she is interested in being around people who are money hungry.
She's on the Sigma mindset, right?
Yep.
It's true.
Like, it's just, I don't know, like, I feel like that is something that is of interest to her. So she's looking forward to that, but Carla is not looking forward to like anything specific.
Winsler is afraid of having to go up on a pedestal in front of an entire assembly of people and be like, see this diagram? Follow these steps. This is how you make a golem.
Easy.
It's so easy.
Better him
and
than
simple.
Kurt, right?
Oh, Kirk will
Two
be
of
there
them.
too.
Two of them
Kirk
will
will be there
yeah.
too.
Partners.
Yeah, but
Pod.
Kurt, we all know Kurt doesn't need to be public speaking.
Yeah. Kurt
No.
is the
He's
technical.
the Steve Wozniak, while Winsler is more of the Steve Jobs.
Winsler in a little turtleneck.
Ugh,
Fits the climate.
it's too big for him.
Oh, that's
The
cute.
turtleneck goes up to his nose.
That's a really cute mental
Comfortable
image.
turtleneck.
The little hat over his
Yeah.
eyes, only his little glasses are peeking
Dude,
out.
Big blue mage energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then grab
Oh.
a turtle and put them on your shoulder.
What?
What?
Oh, turtleneck.
You are a
Oh.
fool tonight.
Oh my god.
Sam,
Oh,
what are your expectations
yeah.
going to the new arc? Sam,
Thank you,
Sam,
Luke.
hey Sam, what are you
Yo.
looking forward to?
I think that I think Serenup's excited to kind of go to a new place that she's never been before, but it's not going to be like we're going out into the wilderness, kids, and that kind of stuff. Like we're going to like another like
Mhm.
populated space.
Yes.
And even though, yeah, like I think out of all of us, her invite was definitely like a last second of like, oh yeah, by the way, Serenup, like if you want to come, that'd be cool. Like I want to show you around the facility. And I think there was like a hint of like, if you want to work there, like I don't know why you would want to, but I think especially like with the current situation of stuff, like she's planning into like, I need to make as much money as I possibly can right now in case something goes horribly wrong in the next little while. And so like I think she's kind of determined to work like no matter what the job is, like she can use her magic to get stuff done if it's something that she cannot physically handle. So like she's determined and kind of excited to get to work.
And finally, Luke.
Hi.
little like previews or sneak peeks can you give us of what's coming down the line?
Nothing.
Like if we're looking down this
No.
This tunnel
Mm.
and we know a train is on the way, like we're seeing a light. What is it?
Well, that's not
It's a
going to
trolley
happen.
problem.
We've done that before where I've said this is what you can expect, and I've always hated the end result. So
Ooh.
the best I'll give you is some minor downtime where Winsler kills Chudley and Sarah gets married, and then just some very relaxed work in the far north. We're gonna bring it back to my own personal roots, industrial work in the fucking Arctic Circle, you know? I'm so excited to
yes.
go. Here's the bullshit is I was trying to fucking cruise us so that we would still get into Troil and it would still be winter, and we've missed that mark considerably.
Dude, it literally just snowed this morning, so fuck off.
But it's not winter
It's
though.
I didn't
85
mean to be that
degrees here.
rude. I was just like,
That
it just
doesn't mean
snowed.
anything to any of us, Nathan.
I just realized
Nathan out here using
it's gonna matter a whole
miles
lot to
and-
the listeners.
85. How are you not
That's
melting?
fucking melting.
48,
Your
that's
legs
one
are
of them.
fucking
The
boiling.
temperature of the sun.
Yeah.
God damn
I used to
it.
give arcs fucking code names and for my own uses.
like Blue Harvest.
No.
Project Luck. Project
yeah, Project
Hound.
Hound, Project Lock, Project. I don't remember what the other one was.
Blues or
Progenitor.
something?
Progenitor.
Project
Who knows? But that was stupid, and I shouldn't have done it. But there's, let me think, 1, 2 plot hooks that already exist that I want to explore, and everything else is just going to be disconnected. Aside from like the shit in the downtime episodes that the players, we're going to see the players' hometowns. That's it, pretty much, and then we're going to get on with
fun.
things.
Little vignettes of that.
Little vignettes. I love a little vignette.
That makes it sound like we're talking about a little pastry, you know? Love to eat a little vignette.
I like a beignet.
Yeah.
Oh, I love a vignette.
Yeah.
Well,
Can I talk about vignettes
Yeah.
that I really liked in the past couple episodes, though, Nathan? Because we talked
feel
about
free.
high
No.
level thing, but they're like
I would love to
these 3
hear
episodes-
more if y'all have anything that you would like to speak on. And this is
Yeah.
something that I would like to do more during CNC is like make sure I didn't miss anything.
I really liked. So we have this massive buildup, almost 40 episodes of buildup of Joan Evelyn Kingsley to end in her just being a sore loser and kind of losing, right? In like a very overly done duel. And then immediately following that up, we have like a bit of downtime, and then we have this way more, it almost feels, even though it's the finals and ostensibly should be higher stakes, but at least from my perspective, felt like a much more low stakes duel. Like neither one of the teams expected this to be what's happening. It was much more friendly. Like there wasn't a rivalry. It was just everyone kind of like having a good time. And there was just a very good energy to it that I liked. I also enjoyed bringing back Vincent Pekin. This was a plan.
Oh my
The moment I
God.
introduced him at the end of that
Yes.
episode, I was like, I want to bring him back. And I was originally going to have him there and just not being danced with and being inconsolable in that manner. But the idea to make him a 7th year and then have Christina on the same team as him as this very composed woman,
That was so
it was
good.
just very funny to me.
I loved her being like, now is not the time or place. We're
Yeah,
about to fight. I can't
absolutely.
dance.
Oh, so good. I enjoyed that quite a bit. And all the little bits with the talking to Amarette talking to Serenup and everything. That was like
Yeah.
I edited that. I didn't realize that was essentially like a 5-minute monologue. And I was like, what the fuck? Why are you doing this for? And it was just weird. But like that whole episode 166 was just like little bits and like cut scenes that were like a little capstone to a couple of plot threads that have been running the whole arc. And I don't know, it's just like this fun little runway at the end of the arc that I really enjoyed, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I very much enjoyed the gala. Gala? Fuck off. The way that Luke's face just went and formed almost like the most delighted little like shit-eating grin that I've ever seen.
It's a strange thing to be here and hear Nathan mispronounce words.
Hey.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Hey Nathan, what's the name of that innkeeper
Yeah.
who we met in the Plain of Isithil again? What was his name?
Okay, here's the thing. All right, I know that Luke loves Dune. You know what's in Dune? The spice melange. You know what is a very close word?
Melon?
Milan.
Fucking
It's
Melon?
Milan. You're taking the GE off of Milan.
Nathan even did a fucking mnemonic to get it right and still got it wrong. It's melon.
You realize
Melon.
melange is just French, right?
Yeah, mélange, a blend.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was this fun space word.
Oh my god, you
Oh.
fucking
I've had
American.
this-
Oh, it's
If it helps in any way, Nathan, I did French immersion, and it took a long time for me to properly realize that déjà vu is like word for word, like seen before in French. Like I just thought it was just a saying thing. I didn't think it was actually it.
Speaking of deserts, I am excited for an adjacent arc, which is going to be starting in our periphery, which is the artist goes on his journey west arc.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which-
How are we going to get updates on that? Is it just going to be like we get little clips before each session and like,
No.
here's what artist is up
We'll
to?
get
Fuck
phone
that.
calls.
Yeah,
Get like
fuck that.
Okay, well, don't be rude when I was trying to give an idea.
If it's not, thank you for your idea. Bad. No, I think the bet because he's not going out into the middle of nowhere. There is civilization out west, so within bits and pieces, there is ways to
There is?
get home, as in to Wildcliff. So the occasional letter would be expected, or other stuff. I think there's ways to communicate, and plus he has that one sending stone that Mira has the pair of, so like they could send a message a day.
Up to 25 words.
Amazing.
Just
Yeah.
ate a bug. Gross. It's in my teeth.
I didn't have to.
But I
I was
chose
in a
to.
cafe.
Yeah,
Help, they're running after me.
that's exciting.
No, not that.
I'm excited for it not to be first years anymore, because we're
I
in that.
agree.
I am
Yeah, that's
excited.
gonna be weird for us to
Yeah.
have
That's what I
underclass.
was
Yeah.
thinking. Is there going to be like a...
I really hope we see Cormet. I really do.
I can't wait to look down at people.
I was actually going to ask, like, what do you think Swim's, like, perception of underclassmen is going to be? Because
Mhm.
every sophomore thinks, oh, these little babies, all these
I
freshmen.
want as many of them as possible to join the event planning committee. I want to be their very first introduction to the committee as a very kind, welcoming
You
presence.
want a voting block.
So that they will. Yes, thank you.
Mira's gonna run the tours for the first years.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my god, she would
Actually,
be so
yes.
good at that too.
She absolutely would. That is absolutely like that is an event
Yes,
planning
yeah.
committee duty. That is
I mean,
100%
we know
some
it's
shit.
an event planning committee canonically, because if you recall in Autumn's Blend, Fadan was like, "No, you fuckers, you're not new students. I know when the new students are coming in the new year, and you're not it, right? Because I'm on the event planning committee.
Mhm.
So that's event planning shit."
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely.
perfect.
Mira could like give them a tour, be super
Perfect.
welcoming, give everybody a little
Oh, I
cup.
should write that down for the event planning election arc.
Yes.
Oh, I really want to see Arlie lead a group of
Oh my
new students on a
lord.
tour.
Yes.
I think Sereneth will look at these new students like I don't know, like maybe like a grit, like she's been adventuring a couple of times. She's a little bit grizzled. She'll see them; they're like eyes wide and full of like ambition.
Yeah.
Not that
Sereneth starts purposely getting their names wrong so she doesn't get attached to them.
One of these will get eaten by a
Like-
snake by a year end.
like she's like
She starts
like her adventuring days are behind her as she's going off on another adventure. Like, I remember when I used to do that stuff when I was your age. Like, you're a year older than us. Like, I remember those times.
integrity, Winsler.
Windsor would probably see them just as like, I feel like he would have the mindset of like, I'm an eternally a freshman.
Yeah.
So he would probably
Aw.
not see them any different as to what he is. You're like, oh, hello, fellow freshman. Wait, I'm
I feel
I'm
like-
second year.
I'm your new professor, very periwinkle.
Oh my god, yes.
Oh god,
Did you forget about that, Ben?
no.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
I
you
feel
Can't wait
like-
for your
of course
first
you did.
class.
I feel like Winsler's the most disconnected from everyone. Like, I feel like first years existing on campus is literally meaningless to Winsler, because when the fuck will he ever interact with them unless they come and
True.
speak to him? Like, I feel like you just kind of fucking mind your own business.
True.
Oh.
Winsler's not here to make friends.
But if
No.
there's a whole like mentoring like thing set up, like, hey, like
Oh,
you're in charge of
no.
this younger one kid to do this stuff, I would be down for that. Like,
Oh no.
The problem we had with study buddies was that you're on the same level.
Yeah.
We need, like, you need to be able to mentor the first years.
Exactly.
So we're doing the new study buddies.
Of course.
100% Swim is like the
that's-
example of like, hey, you see these kids, don't be
Don't be
like
like
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they won the tournament.
Crow's subtle dig where he's like, they sure are some amazing students if this year's anything to go by when they win the tournament or when they win that fucking match. A 10 out of 10.
Oh, good stuff.
I think for Integrity, she's just like a bunch of new faces. I'm tired of everyone else's faces, but now there is new faces.
Are you going to investigate for warlockness in the ranks? Because that is your job. All of you, some of you have actual jobs regarding Wildcliff, right?
Apparently.
Keeping people safe, keeping people away from being warlocks, other stuff.
I don't think I have a job.
No.
I definitely think that Integrity has just like this part of herself that wants to feel more valuable than she actually is.
Middle child
So,
That's so sad.
So, like, I don't know. She wants a fan club the same way Joan did.
Yeah.
She's just like, so I see that you're new students. I was part of the championing group. I'm so cool. Look at me.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, what are you talking about? We just started here.
Well, listen to me, punk.
Shit.
I'm cool. You're not.
Oh, so you're going to bully the younger classmen, is that it?
No, Integrity is going to use her winnings and like pay 3 other like people in y'all's year to create the first little bits of the fan club. That way you can like lure in first years who don't actually know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the beginning of her cult.
Fantastic stuff.
It makes me so excited for the future of this podcast.
Yeah.
And truly, I am so, these arcs have been very good. I'm excited to do more of these postmortems, though, for more arcs.
Yes, same. We're going to keep
Which I am sure will happen
in
sooner.
about 12 episodes.
Well, thank you all for joining me. Listeners, you do not have to stay tuned because we are not going anywhere for any sort of break. This is it. This is all there is. I hope you're happy with it.
That's true.
You better be happy with it.
It was a good one. I liked it.
It was good.
It was pretty good. Yeah, let's do Roses and Thorns for Conversations and Catapults now, everyone.
Great episode.
So the rose is that I was drinking my tea and it was super nice, and now I'm knitting and it's really chill.
Hell yes.
And the thorn is everything else
Damn.
Well,
that got in the way of me drinking my tea and knitting my knitting.
So sorry. This is the way that we're telling you.
So sorry that we're bothering you right now from your activities.
honestly, this is a great place to end Conversation and Catapults if this is what we need to do. I've done the thing that I wanted to do, which was infiltrate to get in on bonus episodes, but then not have the responsibility of being like an actual like full cast member.
Lucky duck.
So I'm happy. But anywho, Luke.
Yeah.
Hey, would you mind? What do we say at the end of every podcast?
Well, at the end of every single podcast, we say goodbye. No. At the end of every episode,
I
we
meant
say,
plugs.
if you want to follow us on social media for teasers, art, anything of that sort, you can follow us at Trials and Trebs on Instagram and Twitter. There's a Discord link to our server down in the description of this episode and every other episode. Over there, they talk about episodes. They talk about fun other shit that might interest you, and it's just generally a fun time. There's a lot of art that gets posted. It's fantastic. There's people to chat to. Additionally, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/trialsandtrebs. Over there, you can, and there's also a link to that in our description. Over there, you can support us month to month for bloopers, for
notes,
DM notes, and also it lets us make shows like C&C Conversations and Catapults, a reality, and other bonus episodes. It keeps those going and also pays the bills. And finally, another thing, if you want to help us financially but don't want to do it month to month, you can buy some stickers or a t-shirt from us at trebmerch.com.
Trebmerch.com! Let's go!
They're very comfortable. I love mine. I love wearing it to do everything.
I wish I could wear
Sick
mine
as
to
fuck.
work.
I wore
Why
mine
not,
to a Mitski
Ben?
concert.
Because dress
fuck
code.
yes.
You did. And you were the coolest person there.
I know, I was the second coolest.
Yeah, Mitski was there, so you know.
All right.
You should have turned around and showed Mitski like the back,
Yeah.
and then looked forward, and then Mitski saw
If
Trials
you-
and Trebuchets, and then Mitski will listen to us and be
If
like,
you
"You guys are
like-
so cool. You will have a private concert of me."
Mitski, if you're
And I'm like,
listening, I
"Oh my
love
gosh,
you."
I love you. I love your songs. You're so cool."
If
Mitski
you like
only
Mitski,
listens to Conversations and Catapults.
if you like Mitski, you have a high proportion of you have a high likelihood to enjoy and buy our merch. So go check it out at trebmerch.com. And that's it. That's the end of the episode. And the plugs.
Well, great plugs, great episode, and now it's time to go ahead and wrap this one up. Sarah, what do I say at the end of every episode to sign off?
That was a great episode, folks. See you next week.